A few days ago, Anthropic released Claude Opus 5, its fourth frontier model in 8 weeks, which means Anthropic now slops out new models faster than JavaScript developers slop out new frameworks. In May we got Opus 4.8, in June we got Fable, then we lost Fable, then we got Fable back, then we got Sonnet 5, and now we have Opus 5. Things are moving so fast that Elon says we're living in the singularity, and that by 2036, money won't even matter anymore, and robots will be doing all the work. But of all the releases from Anthropic in 2026, Opus 5 might actually be the most important, because it promises nearly Fable-level intelligence for half the price. It's also extremely good at writing code, but that's also a big problem for people who make a living writing code, especially indie hackers. In today's video, we'll take a look at Opus 5 and find out why the bootstrapped indie hacker is looking more and more like an endangered species. It is July 29th, 2026, and you're watching the Code Report. So for most of July, Opus 5 was like the Bigfoot of AI Twitter. There were leaked screenshots saying Opus 5 was already live on Google Vertex, there was a mystery cursor model named Honeycomb, and it was pretty obvious that Opus 5 was coming soon. The model itself has a 1 million token context window, up to 128,000 output tokens, and 5 different thinking levels, low, medium, high, extra, and max, that allow you to control how much water and electricity you waste with your pointless prompts. That's pretty cool, but most people have noticed that Opus 5 is a bit more neurotic and anxious than previous models. It tends to produce longer responses, narrate its progress, verify its own work aggressively, and sometimes try to do more work than what was initially requested. And another interesting point is that on the artificial analysis knowledge test, Opus 5 became more accurate than Opus 4.8, but it's also more willing to answer questions when it doesn't know the answer, because the hallucination rate increased by 14 percentage points to 50%. That doesn't mean half of everything Claude says is false, it just means that when Claude doesn't know something, it has a better chance of constructing a beautifully well-reasoned explanation of a fact it just invented. When it comes to coding, Opus 5 crushes the Trust Me Bro benchmarks, but the scariest thing is that Anthropic says it also verifies its own work and recovers from its own mistakes without human intervention. And that terrifies me because double-checking the AI's work was the last remaining valid bullet point on my resume. But the problem with AI is that it's not killing software engineers, it's killing software itself. And it looks like the indie hacker might be the first type of developer to go extinct. For the last decade, the indie hacking dream worked like this: learn to code, find a niche, ship a micro SaaS with Next.js and Stripe, build it in public, and then after it fails, post a bunch of fake monthly recurring revenue screenshots. Then repeat this process until you actually make money. The patron saint of this movement is Peter Levels, a guy who shipped multiple successful apps from a single PHP file and has made millions of dollars in the process. But one of the main reasons indie hacking worked is that the moat was coding itself. Coding used to be hard and expensive, and very few people could actually execute well. Ideas are worthless, execution is everything, is a quote that no longer holds as much weight because today execution costs $20 per month and anyone can build their own personal software instead of paying for some random SaaS product. Like, why would I pay $29 a month for your SaaS when Claude Opus 5 can build me a better version in just 20 minutes? To make matters worse, if you're an indie hacker trying to build in public and you post your idea and roadmap on Twitter, there'll be an unlimited number of Claude subscribers waiting there to steal your idea. On one hand, AI makes programmers more productive, which means the ceiling has never been higher for indie hackers, but the trade-off is that the floor has never been more crowded, and that trend will only continue as AI becomes cheaper and smarter, while more normies realize that they can just vibe code software instead of paying someone else for it. But to be fair, when an asteroid hits, it fertilizes the soil. People who can figure out distribution, branding, or acquiring proprietary data can still win big in this environment. But remember, none of this really matters because by 2036, money will be obsolete, and we'll live in the age of abundance thanks to AI and robotics. That's according to Elon Musk, a guy who sells AI and robots. Yeah, actually, I think money is still going to matter in 10 years. So to help me build cool stuff, I'm using Blacksmith, the sponsor of today's video. It's a drop-in replacement for GitHub runners that lets you run your GitHub actions twice as fast while costing 75% less. That might sound too good to be true, but they're able to achieve this blazing speed by running your actions on bare metal gaming CPUs with the highest single core performance. Blacksmith also makes your GitHub actions fully observable, so you can quickly track down what's happening in your CI pipeline when something goes wrong, which is critical when you have agents writing thousands of lines of code with no parental supervision. Try Blacksmith for free today at the link below, and you'll get 3,000 free minutes per month when you sign up. This has been the Code Report. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.